In this lesson, we will explore how to create a simple HTTP server. So we'll build HTTP server from the beginning, as I mentioned before, to show you the case when we're using that synchronous code. This module will provide a set of functions that will create and manage HTTP servers and clients, which are of course essential for building web application with Node.js. The module that we'll be using, we need to first of all import, and before we import, we need to run our terminal and of course npm init-y to initialize our Node.js application. Wait a few seconds, and right there we can create our index.js file where our magic will happen. And to use the server, we need to first of all import some module. And to do that, http equals require, and we'll need to require http. As you can see, it's built-in module inside our Node.js application. And to create a simple HTTP server using the core HTTP, we need to first of all create some kind of variable and assign it to HTTP that create server. And inside that server, we will need two things. First is request that will handle our incoming message, and responses that will be sending our message to the server. Request and respond. And it will be arrow function. We then click enter, and right there we need first of all to set the response header. I will tell you later on what this is, because right now it's more complicated, but we need to assign it inside the HTTP request. In the later version of Express on other things that we'll just create, we don't need to create that header, but whenever we are creating the HTTP pure built-in server, we need to set the header. So set headers, and right there we need some kind of name. It will be content type, and the value will be text plain. Okay, and that's what we need to know. And text plain is to indicate that we are sending plain text in our response. Of course, we can create something like not text plain, but we can also provide application/JSON for JSON file, but we'll just stick it to later on. Right now, we'll stick to that header. Of course, we also should set the access control allow origin to the header to allow any client to access for our server. So in real applications, we from time to time using some kind of modules to create that, but right now we also need to set the header, another one, and access control allow origin, if I understand it, if I remember carefully, and star as the second argument. And the last thing, not only last, almost the last thing, we need to set the response status code, and we need to send them our response. So we need to send status code 200, which means it's okay. About status codes, we'll just, of course, later on also discuss. And the last thing, to send and end our request, we need to rest that end, and right there, hello world as the sending request. And okay, we need also start listening for incoming requests, and to do that, to make it happen, we need const port, and we'll just create some port, for example, 5000, sorry. And we need to create the server that will listen, and we'll listen to the port, and we will just create that console.log server is running on port, and we'll just pass, or we can just create temple string, it will be easier. Server is running on port, and port will assign over here. And with that, we need to node index.js inside our terminal and create it right now. Right now, we've got some kind of error happen from time to time whenever you are creating more applications. As you can see, the error is 5000. That's why I'm using 5000 port to ensure you that from time to time the port can be blocked. Whenever I recreate it, save it, and rerun the application, as you can see, server is running on port 3000. Right now, you should see the thing that is different from our other application. So the main difference from the file system, whatever you created, is that the server is running and the application still run. And whenever we will just right now go to our web browser and go to localhost 3000, you will see our application is running. And to make sure that everything is running and that's from our application, we can go back, for example, at from application, we just close it by Ctrl+C, rerun our application, so node index.js, wait a second, create there, and refresh. As you can see, hello for application is over here. So in the upcoming lesson, we will explore something more about HTTP. I mean the routing, which is essential whenever we would like to route to another page.